Peace, 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 peace. We are live in the YouTube studio with the True Live 2. We are live in the studio with the True Live 2. I have the link coming now. Link in the, if you want to join. Anybody want to join? It's only going to be for a few minutes. We're only going to do like 30 minutes. Uh, Hopefully, we get some people to come on here or to come into the YouTube. Into the True Life 2 on Facebook. Preferably or preferably, the way you want to see it, you will come into the YouTube channel. I think that'll be good. Yeah. Let's see. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? 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 Anyone? Anyone? All right. I'm going to give 30 more seconds, then I'm going to take off. If y'all come through, let me know what the word is. Let's go like this. Yeah. Anybody? Come on down. We about to go for the crown. All right. Anybody come in, let me know who you are because I might not be able to see it well. We do want a couple participants, if at all. If not, we can just take off and go ahead and do what we do. Um, I do know that we're going to be talking about movies with Black history in them, whether they're documentaries, movies, TV series, any which way. And if you in the room, please let us know. Let me know who you are because I cannot see who you are. Put a comment up, put a hi up, put your name in the middle or something. Do something so we'll know that you're here. And like I said, we're going to be doing Black history in films. Make it light tonight. If you like a film that you consider Black history, let us know. Or if you like a film that you consider to be worthy of being Black history, let us know that as well. Um, and if you want to come on and discuss it, you can do that as well. We'll take off in about another 30 to 40 seconds. Yeah. So let us know though. Y'all in the room quiet. Don't be in the room quiet. Don't be shy. No disrespect to anybody, but this is not a. I ain't gonna say this is not the lodge. I'll say that. This is not a lodge. We can speak it. We can talk it. So come on. Let's go. If you come in and come out, that's fine too. We know who you are. I can't see the participants until afterward. But if you here, come on in and let us know you here. All right. Well, I'm going to take off. I'm going to go. I'm only going to be doing this for about 30 minutes. I kind of want some people to participate. If you want to, you can hit the link. The link is in the comment section on YouTube. You can let us know that you're in here. You can put your name in the comment or the name that you want to be called. Put your name in the in the Facebook as well. Anyone you want. We're talking about Black movies with Black history in them. So the title of this one is Black History in Films. Um, I got one film that I really like. Hey, Miss Parker, how you doing this evening? Glad to see you here. Glad to see you here, Miss Parker. We're talking about Black history in films. That's what I titled it. That's what we titled it, I should say. We're just having a quick light discussion on it. If you know a film that you might like, that you think is worthy of saying it's some Black history in there, or even if it's just hints of Black history, or it's a jewel they dropped that a lot of people might not have picked up on, that's what we're trying to figure out right now, right here today. So if you are in here, let us know. If you got a film, let us know about that too. You might drop something on us that we don't know about yet. For me personally, I'm gonna start off with my favorite person in U.S. history. I'm gonna start off with the film that I recently seen about him in 2016. Um, it was a lot of jargon about that film from Hollywood, from the government, from everybody at movie theaters. Um, we I'm talking about the movie The Birth of a Nation, the new one in 2016, not the one that came out in 1915. Peace, Mr. Simmons. I see you in here. Hello to you as well. Mr. Simmons, we talking about Black history and films. We making it light tonight. If you know any films that you might want to say anything about, you know what I'm saying? Um, if you want to say anything about that might have a hint of history in it, a lot of history in it, or anything, you might want to just drop it on us and let us know what the real deal is. Mr. Simmons, Mr. Simmons, Miss Bradley said, "Hey, Bobby." I'm going through it real quick. We're only gonna do about 30 minutes unless we get a lot of participants. I'm trying to go talk about some films that the one that I really like. If it's enough participants, then we'll talk about everybody's film. You know what I'm saying? Because I like a couple different films in history. It could be movies, it could be television shows, it can be series, anything that you might want to think, or documentary series that you think might be a good piece of Black history or might have had Black history in it. But like I said, I'm starting off with The Birth of a Nation, the one that came out in 2016 that was done by Nate Parker when he played Nat Turner. I love that film because what it was all about. The film showed how people were enslaved in the 1800s, the way they got deceived, the way they got used and abused, and the way they ultimately took revenge. And even if it was short lived, it was still revenge, and it was revenge worthy of putting a note in history. That revenge got Nat Turner still to this day as the most hated individual ever in U.S. history. That's deep because we coming up on almost 200 years, and for people to salute, salute Terrence Tillman, peace. One day, Terrence, you're gonna have to come on and talk to us about your low life movement, because you do that. That's peace. Tonight, though, we talking about Black history. Just a quick in and out on a light piece of Black history. Anything, any films you might want to add on? We just talking about Black history and films. You know what I'm saying? We are speaking on any film, documentary, anything they got to do with film and it got to do with Black history, and you might want to discuss it. You might want to drop a jewel on us, something that we did not know, anything about like that. And I'm starting off with The Birth of a Nation, 2016. Nate Parker did it about Nat Turner and all of the ups and downs of our people when we were being enslaved in this country by the colored man, by the U.S. government, by the English government, making it legal, and the ultimate revenge that they took, even if it was short lived. I like that film because it showed the determination of a people, the determination starting off not just with him, but with Nat Turner learning how to read on his own in the beginning, at least in the film. I know the history too, but we're gonna go with the film. Learning how to read on his own, then you know the dirtiness of teaching him how to read, but only teaching him how to read the Bible, so as he will be able to deceive the other people that was being held hostage, kidnapped, and enslaved, right? So they were deceiving everybody with just one book. And one particular part in the movie had where Nat, Nat Turner went into the library with whoever the so-called missus of that plantation was, and reached for a book. He reached for a book, and she grabbed his hand and said, "No, no, not those. Those are white books, and your people wouldn't understand what's in those, you know." And that kind of goes to the old adage, um, if you want to keep things from black people, hide it in a book. Not true, because we are great readers. We are profound readers. We do this at a high level. I give credit to everybody, even the ones who don't literally know how to read, but I still give credit to them because they still got to go through some things trying to get to just trying to make way. You know what I mean? So, anyway, if anybody got something to add on about the Nat Turner movie, Birth of a Nation, do so. Let me know. And if you want to come on, let me know about that as well. Uh, Mr. Simmons said Emancipation 2022. Great film, great film, great film, great film. Just watched that as well. That was the Will Smith film. That was a good film. Um, if anybody else watched, I don't know if anybody else watched it. That also showed the determination of a people, of a person for his people. You know, um, kind of emancipation was kind of a weird subject because of Abraham Lincoln not really wanting to so-called free our people or free the enslaved people of America, but freeing people in certain locations to benefit him initially. A lot of people, it's never taught that way. But the truth is, that's the truth. That's what's written. He emancipated people in certain areas. Some states had counties where he would emancipate people, and this isn't verbatim, so don't quote it. But you can go and do your research on it. He was emancipating people in certain locations so that he could have more help when it came down to fighting the Confederate Army, or the Confederate States, because it was all about money. It was about money and it was about labor. You know what I mean? So this is emancipation. What emancipation was about. Will Smith did a great job. I consider him a great actor, one of the top, maybe top 10. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. Will Smith is a top 10 actor overall for me, actor or actress for me. He did a great job in it. Again, we did see the deception in that film when they were teaching them that a prayer would do it. Prayer didn't stop the killings. Prayer didn't stop anything that was going on, the rapes, the pillaging, the abuse. It didn't stop that. But that was one of the ways that they taught it. If you ever noticed that in almost every Black History film, we would see some sort of prayer to say that's the best way to do it. But I like the way Nat Turner did it. Not just running off, but running off with a mission. Nat Turner was calculated. He was called a prophet. Um, by him being a prophet, he said he saw things, which was amazing. But he also calculated. He realized that it was many people that were kidnapped or enslaved on those plantations, and very, very, very few white people. Which is ironic because now they always say how many white people there are in America compared to how many blacks and others. But I still don't believe that there are more white people in America than there are blacks and others. I I do still consider the fact of the Constitution being written with the 3/5 a human, still being counted as 3/5 a human. It's amazing because if that is still so, what would be the number today? What would have been the number then? And then not only that, but if you was only counting them 3/5, so called for political purposes, um, what would be the numbers that go into the census, and what would be the numbers of the people that evade putting into the census? Mr. Simmons said, I don't think the movie Emancipation due to this, I don't like the movie Emancipation due to the slap incident. But that photo was classic. We have all seen it in textbooks, but never explained in detail. That's peace. That's peace, Mr. Simmons. That photo was, amazing. And one thing that has made me do was go into the photography of what we've seen in photos over the years. I'm starting to travel that road so that I can go look back at all of the photos and see where they were at, what year they were in, and why they came about. And actually, I want to know who took the photos. You know what I'm saying? Because we talking about um, almost 200 years. We're talking about almost 200 years ago. So I want to see who did these photos, and I want to see what they were about, where they were at, and who allowed them. Because if we look at all of the photos, like you said, that photo was iconic. That's a classic. We see a lot of photos with white people hanging our people over the years. This did not stop. It's still going. Some of it is in a different fashion. Police killing our people. We still seeing that as well. But when we look at it, they always filmed it. It's always been filmed in one way or another. So we got to wonder what gave them the ability or thought process to say that we're gonna film what we do. Like when they would hang somebody, they would hang them. It'd be like a Sunday outing. It'd be like somebody being out there in the at the park and put it on display, and everybody taking pictures, pointing at the person or the people, and then they might cut off the genitals, put those in jars. They might cut off the head, put that on a pole, put it on a tree limb as a warning for others to be discouraged from doing it. I mean, the tricks that was done to us were kind of heavy. They were very heavy when you look at it, because now we're in a situation where we're looking at one person, like in the Birth of a Nation. I'm going to go back to that for a second. In Birth of a Nation, it was one white guy on the property. After a little while, his family was there in the beginning, but after a little while, it was only one white guy on the plantation, you know what I'm saying, on that property. And it was 15, 20 black people. But black people were so beaten mentally that they didn't want to go against them until Nat Turner came about. Like, hey, man, it's only one person there, man. We can take them. You know what I'm saying? We could take him and we could move on. You know what I'm saying? And that became a big issue, And I think we can correlate that to today, to right now, 2023. You know what I'm saying? We in towns, right? Like Detroit. We're in a town like we got a city like Detroit. We got a city like Atlanta. We got a city like Houston. We got these cities, right, that they call predominantly black cities, right? But then in a predominantly black city, you got a minority chamber of commerce. You know what I'm saying? So how would the minority chamber of commerce apply to a black person in a majority black city? You know what I'm saying? And so we are still beat to even think that we should call ourselves minorities at a time or in a place or in a location that we know we are not the minority. You know what I'm saying? Minority means the lesser. Now we know on the planet we are the majority population. But when you come down to a city like Detroit and they tell you that it is a predominantly black city, right? Why would anything in there be considered minority for black people? And I'm using black people because it's not until the last 2 decades or so that everybody else been lumped into minority groups. You know what I'm saying? They pushed everybody in there so they can make all of the people that is fully populated think that they are the minority. And we not. We not on the planet. And again, like I said, that 3/5 clause, I think if we go into that and start doing some serious research, I think we will show that the population is not as short as people think. You know what I'm saying? In the United States of America, and we know around the world. We definitely know that. You know what I'm saying? True indeed, Miss Parker. Miss Parker said, "I'm not a minority in any city." No, you not. You a majority anywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? You original anywhere you go, and I know you know that because I seen your background. You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't, and that's why a lot of people consider themselves minority. I would never. I don't even like the word. I think that word is goofy when it's applied to us. I mean, but one thing that I do recognize is that no person or people should be held responsible until they know. Once they know, we can't give them any passes anymore. There are no excuses once you know. You know what I'm saying? So we got to know, and then we got to do. You know what I mean? But Mr. Simmons, what's your add-on about the movie Emancipation? What's your add-on about that? Would you like to come on the screen and say something, or would you just type it into the comment section for us if you got to add on to that? Or did Miss Parker, did you see the movie Emancipation? Or if Mr. Tillman is still here, if he's still here, I don't know. But did you see the movie Emancipation? Just came out, the latest Will Smith movie. Mr. Mitchell is in the building. Mr. Mitchell has joined us. That's the ANU to the True Life 2. Peace, Mr. Mitchell. Good to see
Hey,
you.
what's happening, man? What's going on?
Man, nothing much, man. We just giving a quick rundown on some of the Black history in films. Just a quick, like, 30-minute breakdown of some stuff. We just talked about a little bit about the movie Birth of a Nation, The Birth of a Nation,
Right.
the 2016 version, not the 2015 version the 1915 version when they.
Yeah, I've been listening. I just couldn't respond because I was driving. But
Oh,
I've been listening since the beginning.
okay, that's
But
peace. That's peace.
yeah, I just wanted to throw this out there. You know, I got to get to work, but
Go ahead, peace.
you know, black people, man, are in Hollywood or elsewhere because you got like Tyler Perry set up his studios in Atlanta. So you know the strides that they've made in the entertainment industry as a whole is Black history in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and me personally, I understand the history of where we come from and you know where we're trying to go. But like in movies about slavery and you know things of that nature, I'm real sensitive about. So I have to watch with caution.
Yeah.
You know, when I was in the military, that was Mississippi Burning had come out,
Oh, that's a movie. Go ahead. Go ahead.
and we watched it as a group in the unit I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when the kid got down to pray and that guy kicked him in the face? One of the white guys yelled out, "Kick him again!"
Mm-hmm.
And I got right on his ass.
Really?
So
The guy out of your unit?
yeah, one of the guys in my unit yelled out, "Kick him again!"
Really?
Yeah. And so that after that, I had to kind of, because they still bother me to a point to where if I watch one, I have to like chill for a few hours before I even go outside. Because if somebody white say the wrong thing, and say what's up, and if it don't sound right, so I have to be real careful when I watch those types of movies because they upset me.
Let me ask you this question. Since you did say they upset you, right? What is the harshest movie that's based on that's based on the truth about Black history that you've seen?
Man, I had to go all the way back to Roots.
Roots. Yeah.
Man, when you see how those people were beaten, and like now they will not even show that movie now. They won't even show that movie because they don't want the new generation of white kids being upset.
Right.
But man, that was probably the most accurate when you talk about the beating, how they cut off their foot for running, just all over how they treat them. And like the movie Mandingo. You remember that movie Mandingo?
Yeah.
Remember how they put that man in a pot of boiling water?
Man, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Those movies were more accurate, but they become so sensitive to to this new generation. Don't want young white kids being upset for the faults of their ancestors. But I'm like, well, if you don't know the history of it, how can they become better people? How can they not become their ancestors?
Let me add on to that. Let me add on to what you just said. Right. And you're right. But one of the things that I think about when I think of white people today not wanting their children to learn their history is because their children are growing up influenced by our children, so-called rappers and entertainers and so on, right? So when they under that influence, they're gonna have sympathy and empathy for our cause. And if they grow up, they got to grow up to be the future politicians along with our kids, right? And then
Right.
when they do that, those laws that we need passed for reparations and historical divide will be easily passed if they know the true history. You understand what I'm saying? So I just,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
Miss Parker said that's why I don't watch those types of movies at all. Okay, that's peace. That's peace. Um, Mr. Simmons said, I would love for both how Allah, I would love for us to revisit this topic about this movie due to some have yet to watch it. Oh, Emancipation. I would like to say that chasing someone because they don't want to do your work. Whoo, that's heavy. You
Yes,
seen
sir.
Emancipation, Mr. Mitchell?
You what?
Have you seen Emancipation?
No, I have not. I haven't seen it.
Okay, it's the new Will Smith movie, and it's a good movie. Will Smith can play any part. He's a great actor. So you got to check it out if you get a chance. It's about 1860. It's actually right there with you, close to you, because they was in Louisiana. But
Right.
it's about emancipation and when the troops came to Baton Rouge. You know
I was
what I'm
gonna say
saying?
I don't know how many people in here have actually traveled through the South,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
there are still actual plantations.
Yeah. Yes.
They still here,
Yes.
you know, and it's disheartening, man, and it pisses me off because they don't want to learn our history, but we can't escape it.
Right.
You know,
Right. And you know what's even deeper about like the plantations, like that's still here, like you just said, they still here. So when you go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, um, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Tennessee, I'm not sure about Mississippi, and maybe you can tell us about Texas, but or Louisiana, but throughout the southern region, some of those plantations have been transformed into kind of like a museum, a walk-through museum. They getting paid off of the plantation now. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they
I was just about to make that very point.
yeah,
And they don't call them museum, they call them historical sites.
right. That's
But they
right.
don't want to learn the history behind them.
Yeah. And see, here's the cold part though. They still found a way to make money off of the detriment of our people during enslavement.
Exactly.
Enslavement. Ain't that crazy? Like you said, the historical sites. But
Yeah, exactly.
they do it like that. They call it a historical site, so they never have to tear it down. They never have to, nobody can, if somebody go mess with it and tear it up, then they'll get in trouble because it's their money maker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're spot on. You're spot on.
Yeah. So this it's amazing to me. Like if you go to North Carolina, have you been to North Carolina?
Huh?
Have you been to North Carolina?
No, I've never been to North Carolina. I've been to South Carolina though.
And South Carolina as well. So they still like they got areas that they still call plantation, something's plantation, Sardis plantation, plantation estates. They got different
Right.
areas that people live in, like subdivisions, named
Right.
after the person who plantation it was back in the 1800s and the 1700s and the 1600s, right? So they still got the plantation name up there. So what does that mean? That means that family still gets paid from the land that person originally owned. Still to
That's
this,
right.
yeah. Mr. Simmons said, Mr. Mitchell, I'm from Mississippi and I have plenty of family in Louisiana. I think that's the dumbest thing ever to have black people to continue to pay to visit them plantations. They still,
No, never that. I ain't never to visit no plantation.
I know, but that's what they doing. They getting our people to
Right.
like historical sites. They making money off of people going to these plantations, and they got to pay big money to go to them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They got to pay big
They
money.
do.
Yeah, and they go visit them for this big money. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, but they still won't give black people in America reparations. You know what I'm saying? They dance around.
I said it once, I say it again. They won't give us reparations because once they give us financial independence, it's a wrap. And they know it.
Oh yeah, yeah. If we get our brains tight, we're good to go.
Yes, sir.
We're good to go.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna have to get out of here. I
Okay.
enjoyed it. And if I get a chance, man, if you're still on, I'll hop back in if I get out.
Okay, that's peace. Appreciate
Hey
you.
man, peace out, y'all.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it's Thursday anyway, too. All right. So Mr. Simmons said it really messes me up that black people pay and have a wedding on those plantations. Man, you know what's so messed up about that? That we are willing to do things that was detrimental, that is detrimental to our people. Because even if you look at the plantations that they do these things on, they do filming on them plantations. They do everything you can think of on them plantations. But if you look at the 40 acres and a mule that black people were supposed to get in this nation, in this country, right? This landmass, you know, they still got the plantations, but we still don't have our 40 acres and a mule. Miss Parker says, I'm a big Packers fan, but I wasn't always one because Brett Favre was on the team and he owns a plantation. Woo! I didn't know it was a plantation. I think me and Mr. Simmons went over this before down in Mississippi. I didn't know it was a plantation. What's the name of the plantation, Miss Parker or Mr. Simmons? I know you remember too. But that's deep too. That's heavy, Miss Parker, that you got the Brett Favre guy doing that, owning that plantation down there. But we see where he's at though. You know what I'm saying? We could look at him and tell how he does. We see from his ways and actions. You know, we don't take people by their word, we take them by their ways and actions, right? If your ways and actions say something bogus, then you bogus, and that's what he is. Mr. Simmons said to Miss Parker, Do you know where Brett Favre got the land from? Because I do. I'm 25 minutes away from there. Miss Parker says she don't know the name, and she's asking you where did they? She said, "Where, Bobby? Where they get it from? Where did they get the land from? Let us know. Fill us in on that one. That's a good one. You know, that was a good jewel too, Miss Parker. I like that. You know what I mean? I know he's down there, and Kill. Ain't he from Kill, Mississippi? He's in Kill, Mississippi, right? That's the area. Um, I don't want to look it up. I'm not going to look it up, y'all. I want to see what y'all say if that's where he's from. Mr. Simmons, is he from Kill, Mississippi? I think so, but I don't know the name of the plantation. But people, I'm telling you, Miss Parker, people support a lot of stuff that we shouldn't. And I know football, NFL football in particular, is entertainment for a lot of people. But I would like to see our people leave football alone for 5 years. If we left football alone for 5 years, really even two, but 5 years, if we left football alone for 5 years, the whole dynamic of what go on in the country would change because football is the major influence in this nation, right? Yeah, then we'll see what happens. Then we'll see what happens because I think right then, we got duped on a lot of things in sports, and we can look at the film. It's a film out. I had seen a documentary years gone by and read a book years ago. I can't remember the name of the book though, but it was a book about the black hockey players. It was about the black hockey players and and basketball. So these are games that were started by black people originally, black hockey and basketball, but they both got took over by white people, and um, white white people, especially hockey, because white people took over hockey. They came with the NHL. It was the CHL, Canadian Hockey League, and then it became the CA. They changed it. They kind of shut that one down. Took it over here, made it the NHL, and now you barely have any black players in the National Hockey League. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't really like them being in the hockey league anyway, or the NFL, or the NBA for that matter, because if we had the Negro League way back 100 years ago, 75 years ago, 80 years ago, 60 years ago, why don't we have the black baseball league now? Why we don't have a black football league now? Why we don't have a black hockey league now, or anything else, any other league, right? Because if you think about this, all of those sports would be dominated by black people. They made a clear distinction in baseball, right? And this is going into the documentary realm. They made a clear distinction in baseball about um, no black, no American born blacks being in the World Series. But it was a ton of blacks. They just showing you how they gonna keep on trying to divide us. Where they going like they not considering the Dominican cat that look just like me and you. They not considering the Puerto Rican cat that look just like me and you. They not considering all of these guys, the Brazilian guys. They not considering these guys to be black, and they don't want you to consider that because we can look at it and we know that they're black. You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep this in mind when we watching documentaries, we watching movies, we watching the sports themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's about to be a few good sports documentaries on football in a minute. I can guarantee it. And if anybody got a chance to see that Colin Kaepernick documentary, pay attention to the first 15 minutes of it. I mean, outstanding. Mr. Simmons said he purchased the land. So he's going back to the Brett Favre piece. He purchased it from Walter Payton in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But yes, he's from Kill, Mississippi. Okay, cool. So the one in Hattiesburg, is that the one that Miss Parker is speaking on, where it's a plantation? Was that one, or is that the one in Kill, Mississippi? Miss Parker said because they needed our strength. Yes, indeed. We get look. That's look, Miss Parker. What's so crazy is right. We hear about in films, in books, in news, in on the radio, a daily basis. We hear about black people being so lazy. If black people were lazy people, black people would have never been kidnapped. Black people would have never been kidnapped from the continent. Black people in America would have never been kidnapped from where they were and taken to other places in the South to work. You know, this country was built on the backs of our people, right? That's why we need to be demanding respect. We need to demand reparations. We need to demand everything that we see we are missing so that we can get back to where we were. A person that was kidnapped, listen, we have all been kidnapped. And now I'm not talking about back in 1555 or 1492 or 1500. I'm talking about still to this day in 2023, we have been kidnapped mentally too. We are mentally trapped. One reason, again, I'm going to say this, and I have a discussion on this all the time. That's one of the reasons why we are so delighted in having our kidnappers, our oppressors, the person that demeans us. We're so delighted in having their names, right? Again, like I said, we would never, ever, 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 ever see anybody from the continent or the original people from this planet named Donald. It would not happen. Don. That would Albert. That's not happening. No way. There is no way that's going to happen. These are not names that we attribute to ourselves, but we're so happy, and we'll be disrespectful to the person that decides to change theirs. So this is actually, we're going to chop this film up to make this a documentary. We got another film coming up too soon, y'all. Mr. Simmons said Hattiesburg, over 450 acres. Kill was destroyed in 2005 by Hurricane Katrina. That's deep too. Ms. Parker said, we as a people are strong mentally and physically, naturally. Yes, we are. But the contradiction to the mental part, Ms. Parker, is that we live under white rules, not saying that I do what this white man say, but subliminally we take what they say and we use that as a fear within our own mind, within our own body. That's the part that weakens us when we won't challenge. And then when I say we, I'm not saying not all. When we won't challenge the system, like we'll say that they won't give us money to educate our youth, right? Well, we can read, so we shouldn't need the system, the government, to give us any money to educate our youth. If I'm a reader, I can teach my kids, right? And that's one thing that we need to do. We got to start doing that. We got to take it out of their hands and put it in ours. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that we haven't been doing. It's in a lot of films, but we'll look at the film, and see the film as stupid. Like, okay, I'm gonna read these comments, then I'm gonna tell you about the film that we look at and we see it as stupid. Mr. Simmons said, Born Power, that Colin Kaepernick documentary was excellent. Man, cream of the crop, man. It was cream of the crop, cream of the planet. It rose straight to the top. Miss Parker said, okay, I'm a tax preparer. I did my own taxes and was asked, am I of German or Jewish descent and have been receiving my reparations? See, exactly. Just think about just think about that question right there. Right? Because German or Jewish descent. That's deep because they asked the original person, did they descend from another group and another religious group? You see, which is kind of like we got to step away from that. If we don't step away from that, we're lost. But when I say look, the stuff that's put in films, some people drop it in the films, even the comedies, even the ones that we don't look at as the most serious of films. People drop it in there, but we don't look at it. Like again, this is not funny business. I'm not talking funny business tonight, but like I love the movie Baby Boy. Uh, the jewels that was dropped in Baby Boy were outstanding. I'm talking about was outstanding jewels, but we looked at it as goofy because he rode a bike. I mean, like I say, he rode a bike in that movie, but I looked at it as the person that was getting things done. He was getting from A to B, right? Even though he didn't have a car, he was a baby boy, but the stepfather, the man stepped in and taught him, even without words, to be a man. That's heavy. Don't we need men to step in and teach these boys to be a man today? But we don't take that as serious. That's why for years, since that movie came out, for the last 20 years, I've been saying that should be mandatory viewing for everybody within Black society inside of America, minimum the 48, the mainland 48. It should be mandatory viewing because if the children don't want to see it, if the women don't want to see it, the man still needs to know how to act in accordance to the household that he's in, his own household with his children, or if he goes into another household or he bring a woman and her kids into his household, you still got to be a man. You still got to take care of the house. You still got to protect the house. You still got to teach the house. How are we going to teach the house? Are we going to teach the house in accordance to man-boy relationship? Because it goes man, boy, man. So man teach the boy becomes a man. In the early part, the woman teaches the boy, most of the time, the woman teaches the boy how to develop early stages. And then after about that age of about 4 or 5, then the boy locks on to the man, and the man teaches the boy how to come through them formative years. That's why they call formative years. So that when he's coming through, especially in particular puberty, when he's coming through, he can be taught to be a man and do things as a man. You know what I'm saying? So every movie that we see, like we can look at Menace to Society. I know that's Mr. Simmons' movie. Mr. Simmons, you taught me a lot about that movie because that movie showed what a menace is, what somebody in limbo looks like. You know what I'm saying? What a woman, a strong woman, looks like when she's struggling with somebody in limbo to try to get them to do something. And if they had a strong man, it was men in there, but a strong man. They didn't show any strong men in the movie. This a strong man to take him to the next level, because the woman was doing it all. She was doing a lot, Jada Pinkett. She was trying to show him a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? Then we got the movie, The Education of Sonny Carson. We spoke on that a couple of days back or last week, Mr. Simmons. We was talking about that, but The Education of Sonny Carson, it just took him from being, a menace to himself, not society, but a menace to himself, to becoming the man that was gonna raise a boy and family and others in the community. Because Sonny Carson actually did a lot for the community. People have different things to say about him later in life, but overall, he did some good things out here, and he gave us one of the best people that we've ever seen come through the realm of hip hop, what they call hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You know, Professor X, that was his daddy, Sonny Carson. So if y'all get a chance, anybody that watches this now or later on, at a future date, if you ever get a chance, watch the movie. If you haven't, I don't know if you have, but if you haven't, watch the movie the Education of Sonny Carson. It's an older movie. It was about 1973, 1974, between 72 and 74. But it's something great to check out. Miss Parker said, yeah, they mama's baby till about 5 years old. Well, always, but it's time to man up, sort of speak, so to speak. So yeah, they mama's baby until about 5, and then you gotta come on now, because that 5-year-old might have a 2 or 3-year-old brother or sister that they gotta look out for when they go to school, in the neighborhood. So you gotta get that education from, usually be from the man. A lot of daughters get a lot of education from the man too, but they get a lot of education from the woman as well, and they dive in on that front. So yeah, you're right. That's 200% accurate. It's probably 1,000% accurate. Mama's baby till about 5 years old. We know always, but then it's time to man up, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta take them reins and go ahead. And now you gotta go. So them are different things too. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta look at that. And then, like Mr. Mitchell mentioned, Roots. Roots was a very historical movie. Accurate to a family, or in particular, a family, but very accurate to let us know that this is something that we need to be doing our history. You learn our history and learning going backwards. Like Alex Haley went back a few generations. You know what I'm saying? I think he might have went back about 5 or 6 generations. You know what I'm saying? To do to so that people could see where his family tree was and get a perspective of their family tree. And not only that, but desire to go back and start learning about their family tree. You know what I'm saying? Which is like Roots is one of the movies that I got the collection, and I know a lot of people do, but every February I play it. In particular, I play it a couple times a year, but in February I play it so that people can really, really jump in. And when they jump into it, some of the younger people have a lot of questions about that movie because they don't know it. They haven't learned it. When we were young, we had to sit down and watch that. When that came out in the 70s, that was like, boom, sit there and check this out. There is no way you're going to get away from that. And I would like to do that now with people. You know what I'm saying? And I do it inadvertently. Like I said, hook or crook. You know what I'm saying? We still going to get you there. We're going to make sure you're going to get some of this education no matter what. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but we got to keep it alive, right? So that they would never be able to kill it. When I say they, I'm talking about white people, especially in America. White people in America will kill something if they see that black people are not keeping it alive, or black people don't respect it. They'll do away with it themselves. This is why you got that critical race theory jumping off now. And why, like Mr. Mitchell said, in schools, they don't want to teach this stuff. In schools, we used to have to watch black movies. You know what I'm saying? We used to have to watch certain shows, even like I was watching Archie came on Me TV last night. It started on Me TV. Comes on at 7 o'clock now. But they had a marathon. If y'all could check out what Archie was talking about in the first episode, he dropped heavy. He talked about the Spicks and Spades. You know what I'm saying? Right out the gate. This cat was talking about the Spicks and Spades. Even though I love that show because it was hilarious and it was something that I grew up off of, I know that whoever put that show out could not have been right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they could not have been right, and they were only being demeaning to everybody. Even though I know that they had opposing sides on that show, it was still that show wouldn't even get out the boardroom today. Mr. Simmons said the education of Sonny Carson is available on YouTube. The complete movie. The Good Times TV series did several episodes from this movie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It did. It did a lot of episodes from that movie. You're right. Because the replication of it, man. I mean, it was that's to show that it was so many lessons involved, right? There were so many lessons involved in that movie that they had to put it into the TV show because more people are going to watch a television show than they are going to watch a movie. So it's best for them to take little pieces of it, put it in a TV show, and move on from there, which is the best way. So I miss shows like I don't even know. Do we got anything like Good Times on television now? I don't know because I haven't been watching television in that regard lately because I don't have cable. Miss Parker said, one thing Bernie Mac always said to Jordan on his show, boy, you have to stop being so soft. Ooh, see, I did watch Bernie Mac sometimes too. And, Bernie Mac, love him to death, love him, love what he did. But I believe he acquiesced in a couple of different things. But as far as the Bernie Mac show, he did the right thing. And he told that boy, you need to stop. You have to stop being so soft. You can't be soft. You know what I'm saying? You can't think about this. A boy with two sisters can never be soft because he has to be the protection, most likely because when families have babies, they usually have them around the same age. Sometimes you see a big gap, but usually they right there around the same age. So the older ones are usually the protectors to the younger ones. And if the boy is soft, then who gonna protect the baby girls? You know what I'm saying? Even if they are within a year or so or whatever, even if it's the second child, sometimes it'll be the third child be the boy. They expect him to do the protecting of those sisters. You know what I'm saying? Which is one of the roles that I love that I don't see a lot of women allowing to happen these days, using the man as the protector. You know what I mean? I don't see that, but we'll talk about that on the next show, on our Thursday show. Good point, though, Miss Parker. Good point. Mr. Simmons said Cooley High movies sparked the sitcom What's Happening. Oh, did it? I know that movie was I knew it was a part of it. I think we might have discussed this before because I remember that being a part of it, a part of that coming out of that series coming out of there. You know what I'm saying? But was any of them in there? Was Raj in there? Was Raj in Cooley High? Or am I thinking about Glenn Turner? I know Glenn Turner was in it, but was Raj in there too? Maybe you might can answer that, Mr. Simmons, or some Miss Parker. I can't remember if Raj was in that movie. But that was that was another good groundbreaking show too. You know what I mean? But they, have y'all peeped it since Claudine came out? Obviously I wasn't on the scene when Claudine came out, but I wasn't on the scene when Claudine came out. But after that Claudine piece, every show was, well, not everyone, because we had the Cosbys. We had the A Different World. We had the Bernie Mac show. He wasn't biological though. Everybody Hates Chris. That was good. That was one of the ones that it was a good show, but I didn't watch it like that. But I'm just thinking like most of the shows that we had, was fatherless for some reason, like death, or a single mother, or something was going on with the father, where the father wasn't involved in the show like that. Mr. Simmons said, no, he just looked like him. He looked like Raj. I thought I seen Raj in that movie though. But I know Glenn Turner. Glenn Turner was the actor at that time. Remember, he played JD's Revenge. He did that too. I think that's the name of that one. I think it was JD's Revenge. Yeah, the book. Yeah, Miss Parker said I can't remember. Miss Parker also said I wasn't into Everybody Hates Chris. I mean, you know what, Miss Parker? What's funny about Everybody Hates Chris is that from day one, from the giddy up, I just thought it was buffoonery. I just thought it was. I mean, maybe it was something. I don't know. Somebody else might be able to say about the lessons that was in that one, or if it was just for comedic purposes. But I just didn't. I didn't see it as anything worth wasting 30 minutes to an hour of my time on a weekly basis. We got 168 hours in a week, and I don't have many of them to waste. And that I know Everybody Hates Chris probably would have been a waste of my time and a lot of people's time. You know what I'm saying? And then took the boy right into a homosexual movie, or a movie acting like a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Miss Parker. That's what I'm saying too. He was stepping and fetching like that. Yeah, definitely, he was doing that too. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm some of them things we gotta watch what we let our people watch. It's kind of like, check this out. We're gonna go into a different direction, right? But we still on movies and television and all this. So I hear a lot of people today speaking about how homosexuality is being put into um, cartoons and children's shows, right? And I'm like, as a parent or grandparent or whatever, you know, uncle, aunt, whoever you are, right? Why are you letting your children watch this if that's not what your lifestyle is? And the reason I say why is because you got shows like cartoon in the cartoon realm. You don't have to let them watch Paw Patrol or whatever. I don't know what the films are now. I don't know what it is, but you got because I don't have any baby kids, any little kids, but you got Bugs Bunny. Well, we'll just say all the Looney Tunes. You got the Flintstones. You got Underdog. All these different people, right? Um, a child will never know if that movie or that television show was made today. We could literally let a child watch a movie with us, and they won't know if it was made today or 45 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time I seen Superfly, I didn't know when that movie was made. I just thought it was a new movie. I didn't know it was an old movie. Same thing with the Mac. I didn't know that the Mac had came out 1 year after I was born. I had no idea, right? Because I seen it. I wouldn't have seen it until the 80s. So by the time I seen it, I was thinking this was something slick and something new. I didn't know they had made that, 12, 13 years ago. Had no idea. So we put too much nonsense in where we should be taking it out. Oh, this is a good one. Mr. Simmons said, Born Power Allah, Bugs Bunny did a racist show. Oh, yeah. Well, Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, Little Rascals, everybody did a racist show. But that's pretty much the same as Archie, or Charlie Brown. They was doing it. They had to throw that in there, right? Because just think about it. So when you talk about Charlie Brown, Bugs Bunny, all of this stuff, right? In order for the cartoonists or the network to play that in certain states, Mississippi being one, all of those shows, to get them to play it in certain states, they had to put a hint of racism in there. They had to show some racism, even in the cartoon. Foghorn Leghorn. But to put all of that in there, right? They had to put it in there for it to be able to pass through them states. Remember, Charlie Brown would Mississippi would not allow Charlie Brown to be played, if they had black characters in there. So what did they do with the black character? You know what I'm saying? One of the things they did with one of the black characters was they put him on the other side of the table. You know what I'm saying? They used to have him walking behind. You know what I'm saying? This little stuff like that, just them little hints, was some of the things that um, we didn't pay attention to as children. We might see it now, or we might have seen it as time went on, right? But for them states, imagine the state of Mississippi saying, we don't want you to play a cartoon because you're gearing it towards letting black people be involved. A cartoon. That's how racist that area was. You know what I'm saying? So in order to do that, they had to throw a little hint of racism in there. Because if you think about it too, Mr. Simmons, um, like Archie and oh man, Maud was another one. She came on a little bit later. Benson, no, yeah, no, let's go before Benson. We go to before Benson, Soap, right? These shows came out, right? The amount of racism in every episode was at a high level. Never would have got past today, but they had to let them go so that they would be able to shift it past some of these state governments so that they wouldn't be protested against and they wouldn't be turned away. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we got to check out them documentaries too. That's just crazy. Ms. Parker said my kids used to always ask me why was I why was I always sitting in the kitchen? Well, it's because I could see everything entering my atmosphere. If I didn't like who was entering my space. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, you sit in the kitchen. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because at one point, a lot of people didn't use their front door too. You know what I'm saying? But you sit in your kitchen and you can watch everything. That's where everything used to happen at too. And at least in the black households, we used to have a lot going on in the kitchen. You play spades in the kitchen. That's where everything was cooked. You got the gatherings where you talked at. Everything was done. Maybe you can expound on watching your atmosphere just a little bit more too. That'll be good too. Ms. Parker also said I was giving them enough opportunity to back up out my space. Yeah, that's peace too. Yeah, you give them a little bit of rope so they can get up out of there. You know what I mean? Give them a chance. Basically, is what we did. Mr. Simmons, did that answer your question about what's the name of that rooster? Foghorn Leghorn. Did that answer that? If that's the one that you was talking about. If that's the one that you was talking about. Yeah. So anyway, do y'all have any movies to add on that y'all might want to speak on or comment on? Um, you know, peace. That's peace. Yeah, there it is. Mr. Simmons says yes, indeed. Um, Another good movie to go back and watch, and I'm gonna try to go back and watch it this month too. Is Amistad. That was a good one. I haven't seen that in years. I literally forgot a lot of the stuff in there. Um, so I'm gonna go back and check that out. Mr. Mitchell mentioned Mississippi Burning. I usually watch that every year. I'm going back to check that out. Another one that I want to go back and check out too is a television show. Wait, let's go back before it was a television show. I want to go watch the movie before the television show In the Heat of the Night with Sidney Poitier. I love watching Sidney Poitier in that movie. He just displayed elegance and class to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of like the black history of that guy, of the guy, of him, of who he was. You know what I'm saying? I just want to go back and check that out and see what's up with that for a little while. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably go check that out tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I got to get a TV at work so I can start seeing some of this stuff. But what say y'all? Do y'all say anything else? Did anybody see the little piece of Malcolm X clip that I stole from somebody else and put in our group today when he spoke about our leaders? Did either of y'all see that? Miss Bradley said, when I was younger, I used to read these black encyclopedia books. Ooh, I want to find the black encyclopedia books. Ooh, Miss Parker, you gotta enlighten me. You gotta enlighten me because I remember something to the effect, but I don't know if it's what you want. That would be something very interesting to see. Yeah, I would like to go back and check out some black. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had some black encyclopedia books right now, as opposed to just reading everything off of Facebook or Instagram and thinking that's big news? I got people that tell me that they learn their stuff off of YouTube. And what's amazing to me is I say, well, I had somebody telling me that this Saturday, and I asked him, I said, well, what if it's not correct information? You know what I mean? And he had no answer. He's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Miss Parker, you should do a live on that. I would like to know where that thing is at. And when you do your live, add us on, because I haven't been seeing your pop-ups come through. I don't know if the algorithm stops letting me get the notifications, but I haven't been able to see the pop-ups come through. So tag me in there when you're doing them lives. I want to check them out. I like supporting our people if I can. I mean, right now, monetarily, I'm not able to a lot of them, but I might be able to. I don't know. Let us know so we can see when it's come on too. You can put it in this. You can put it in the True Live too if you want to. Yeah, that'll be a bet too. Mr. Simmons said he haven't seen it. You got to check it out. Look, it's a little short clip of Malcolm X talking about how, white people try to give black people, white people try to give black people comedians and entertainers to be their leaders, right? And to give comedians and entertainers to be their leaders. And we like, man, this cat is a comic. This cat is not who we want to be our leader. Could you imagine Jamie Foxx as a black leader, or even get better, Kevin Hart as a black leader? You know what I'm saying? I can't see that, because these cats have done everything to feminize black men. They have done everything to basically what we call sell out black men, in roles, in the way they do things, the way they maneuver. Now, they got some good films, but even on the side, when I see them doing interviews on talk shows, on late night talk shows, they're doing interviews that that's all about making jokes, and some of them be acting like sissies when they do it. Mr. Simmons said, what? Katrina does podcasts? And Ms. Parker said, I do lives, raw subjects. What kind of subjects do you do? Let's sidetrack for a second. What kind of subjects do you do? What's your subject this week, if it's anything? Unless it's just going to be like, just get on there and talk. And can anybody join you when you're doing it? But if y'all get a chance, go back and check out that clip. And like I said, it's like a 30-second clip with Malcolm X, which was a great leader, fierce leader, never standing down, gave his life for the cause that he believed in. You know what I mean? Okay. Miss Parker says, anything. Yes, anyone can join. Ooh. Yeah, I'm joining, Miss Parker. I'm going to join that live. I remember watching 2 of your lives. I got the notifications, but after that, I didn't get any more notifications. I watched 2 of your lives. I was sitting there checking them out. I thought they was pretty nice. You know what I'm saying? Just go ahead and doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So if it's this week, are you doing one this week? Alive? Because you know the True Live 2, the people in the True Live 2 can adapt to any subject, Miss Parker. We can deal with any subject now. Me, Mr. Simmons, Queen Ice, Mr. Mitchell, the experience. You put us all together on there and we might go crazy. Especially if it's something that's a little bit what's-a-name. You know what I'm saying? So you said, I'm thinking about it. That's peace. Well, we want to be able to jump in on it. I'm jumping in. I don't care what you say. As long as I see it. If I see it come up, if you tag me, I'm jumping in. You know what I'm saying? So let us know. Let us know when it come up, when you do it. Or tag us all in it. You can tag everyone in the True Live too. You know what I'm saying? So do that for us too, if you get the chance to remember. But anyway, with that, I want let's real quick. What's y'all favorite movie? It don't have to be Black History. It's just a movie that y'all can say is a part of whatever y'all think it is. Mine's is Baby Boy. And I think I just told y'all the reasoning behind it. Seeing all the males all the boys coming to manhood. The man showing he was a man. The women showing that they wanted a man, and then what happened when they accepted a man. Mr. Simmons said, Katrina Bradley, Miss Parker, and Born Power Allah, thanks for the opportunity to learn more tonight. I have to run. Good night, y'all. That's peace, Mr. Simmons. We about to wrap it up anyway, man. I'm about to wrap it up too. Mr. Simmons said, menace to society. Yes. Oh, Mr. Simmons. Miss Parker said yours too. X. Malcolm 10. Malcolm 10. Ain't that what you call it? Malcolm 10 and set it off. Oh, history in the making. Okay, so y'all, we're going to wrap it up. We just wanted to come in with a quick pop-up show. The True Live 2 won't be back until Thursday. We'll be doing our topic. It's posted in the True Live 2. It's posted in the Milwaukee Custard Indians. Let me see what the topic is. I forgot what the topic is. But it's posted. So we are there. And we will be doing a subject of let me see. Thursday, our subject will be here it is. We will be discussing are Black men protecting Black women emotionally. So be prepared for an exciting show. Go back, look at that clip. We'll be playing it again, and it'll be coming down, and we'll be ready on Thursday. Our podcast, our live, the True Live 2, Born Power Allah, and Queen Ice. She's invisible right now, but she's always here with us. I thought she was going to pop in, but she's right here anyway. Go. Nothing is done without her approval. You understand what I'm saying? So we always got to give it up to the host of the show. So with that said, we'll be back Thursday for the True Live 2. We're hoping that we can get on Miss Parker's live podcast sometime during the week if she shouted out so we can get in there. And if anybody else is doing anything live or doing anything at all, we'll be willing to support it. But with that being said, I'm going to say peace, good night, and I'm glad y'all joined us. See you next time. Peace.